Let's get ready to rumble!
Top Rank and Eddie have come to an agreement. The fight will be on ESPN and Sky Sports. A unified junior lightweight unification between WBC title holder Alicia the Bomb Baumgardner and Michaela Mayer. They've been going at it verbally for a long time. Baumgardner was going to unify her belts with the long-reigning WBA belt holder, Choi. But it looks right now that the winner of Baumgardner, Mayer, will face Choi for undisputed. Choi is with Matchroom as well. Well, I'm excited about that one. It's a good one. No location or date yet. They're saying late summer, early fall. No boxer likes losing, but you get a feeling the loser of this one is going to find it hard to live down. They've been going quite hard at it. Nothing too reckless, but they're not very complimentary towards each other, as they shouldn't be either. Recently, we've learnt that Savannah Marshall has an arm injury. Clarissa Shields doesn't believe her, and it looks like Clarissa wants to get her in the ring injured. She's injured merciless, you know what I mean? I don't blame her. But they're targeting the fight for September now, their middleweight unification. Savannah was supposed to fight in March and then get the surgery, but the fight got pushed back to April, and that's delayed the surgery. Now, this is my opinion. Savannah can fight, or could have fought, without the surgery. I think she's been fighting without the surgery. It's an old injury. But I think because it's Clarissa, she knows that she has to be as close to 100% as you can get. Like Clarissa said, nobody goes in the ring 100%. You're not going in no ring 100%. Anyone who says they do or have done is lying. So Savannah is aware of the magnitude of the fight. You know, she's saying that Clarissa is trying to pull out because of the 4 or 5 week delay looking for other opponents. But Savannah is saying, is it worth it really? 4 or 5 weeks is not that long, considering the magnitude of the fight. Yeah, that is true. It's a huge fight. It would be a shame if any of these two pulled out, you know? Savannah rightly blocked Clarissa from Twitter, I believe, because Savannah is not really the smack talker, tried to get in your head. That's Clarissa's game, and if she can limit Clarissa as much as possible, because Clarissa has got a badass mouthpiece that if Savannah buys into, it could possibly be a deciding factor in her winning or losing. So Tank fights Rolly Romero this Saturday, the 28th of May. The pay-per-view will be $74.99, and it's going to do abysmal numbers like the Isaac Cruz fight has done. Some people will say, well, the UK put on trash pay-per-views, so why can't America? Well, your threshold is set a lot higher than Britain's. And it's a stupid comparison. It's 2 different markets. The pay-per-view over here is a third of the cost of what you guys are paying out there. If you compare this to Floyd Mayweather's pay-per-view fights or Manny Pacquiao, Oscar De La Hoya's, there's no comparison. It's not a pay-per-view fight. It's not really a good pay-per-view fight. And Tank is not a pay-per-view draw where he could carry someone like Rolly, who's not a household name, by himself. So it's not a good look for American pay-per-view. Not at all. And all the people who are invested in, yo, I support TMT, most of them ain't going in their pocket to buy it because they do that before every fight like this. Oh, the DAZN is crap, and we hate Aram, and we hate this, and we support this and that. And it's a whole load of bullshit. They had to suppress the numbers of Tank's last fight with Isaac Cruz. They had to suppress the numbers. It was that bad. There's a lot of people who actually believe Rolly can pull off an upset. Maybe it's because Rolly looks really jacked. And in all truth, that's the only way he could possibly win the fight, is if he's just a lot stronger than Tank. Because if it's boxing alone, he doesn't win. He just doesn't win shit. I'll break it down like this. Rolly can hit pretty hard. I saw him punching Yijit around the ring. He has a puncher's chance. But if Tank is in shape, the only way Rolly wins is if he lands one capacitating blow and Tank is either knocked out or can't continue. But there's no way he's going to be outboxing Tank or outsmarting him. No way. Now, both men have high knockout percentages. Tank has 24 knockouts in 26 wins. He's 27 years of age. Rolly is 26 years of age. He has 12 knockouts in 14. Now, if Tank can stop Rolly, that would be a bit of a statement. It would be a bit of a statement. We've seen Rolly get outboxed by the Latin kid, but a stoppage would be a good statement on a pay-per-view event, being it's his last fight on TMT. Now, enough of that boxing shit. Off boxing. Where's Tank gonna go? He said he wants to fight Devin Haney. He wants to fight Devin Haney. So if Haney beats Kambosos twice, because, you know, he's got to beat him twice to be free of Kambosos, could Tank be heading off to DAZN? Because Eddie said he's going to pursue Tank aggressively to get his name on a contract. Yeah? And he wants to do that because he wants to wind up Leonard Ellaby. Leonard wants to tell everybody Eddie Hearn doesn't know what he's doing. But Eddie, as far as I know, hasn't had a volatile relationship with one of his fighters like Tank has had with TMT. Like, Tank has threatened to leave a few times. The announcement of Floyd's exhibition against Don Moore was announced on the same day there was a press conference for this fight that Tank's having with Rolly. Rolly has hinted that Mayweather wants him to beat Tank. Hasim Ruttman says the same thing. Well, I'm not surprised. Like, Rolly's a TMT fighter and Tank has declared he's leaving. Of course he wants Rolly to win. This fight has been rescheduled, obviously, because Rolly had his issues when they were first supposed to fight. Was that last year? And there was talk about internal issues with Tank, Mayweather, TMT back then. So it's no surprise. Golden Boy also want to sign Tank. Oscar's mentioned it, and there could possibly be a Ryan Garcia fight there. And a lot of people are speculating that's why this fight has been made. Floyd wants Tank to be damaged goods. So when he leaves TMT, he won't be such an attractive proposition for the likes of Hearn, De La Hoya, or maybe Arum. Leonard Ellaby has just cut an odd figure right now. Because what he has to realize, he can say what he wants about Eddie Hearn. But Eddie Hearn gets in hot water with people for trying to make fights, putting offers on the table. You're there telling us why you're turning down offers. Like $5 million for a winnable fight against Tevin Farmer. Leonard's telling us that Eddie just throwing DAZN's money away. Well, if that's the case, you didn't catch none of it when he was throwing that $5 million Tank's way. There's no way Tank's made $5 million one fight with TMT. No way. I don't care what they're skimming or whatever they're doing there. And it's not just the money. You know, the other day, Tank called Devin the email champion. But does the likes of Devin even take Tank serious right now? He's going to fight for undisputed against Kambosos in Australia. And we know Devin is making sacrifices. Ben Davison can't get over there because of the Kinahan shit, probably can't travel. His old man can't get over there because he was on some thug shit when he was a kid. He's having to give promotional rights away, rematch clause, a whole lot. Plus there's going to be a crowd that are going to be, for the most part, anti-Devin. The likes of Teofimo Lopez has held a lot of scraps at the weight class. So was Lomachenko. So he's getting left behind. He's getting left behind right now. All the guys are progressing with their careers, have started to build legacy with legacy-defining fights. And Tank's not doing that. So possibly that's part of his decision why he's leaving as well. He realizes now he's getting left behind. Soon it's just going to be Tank and Ryan Garcia tweeting to each other.
Yo, you haven't done shit in your career, baby boy. Yeah, neither have you.
5 years' time, you're going to see Ryan stuck on trying to get past the eliminator stage and taking his title shot. And 5 years' time, you're going to see Tank still stuck on regular belt status. Procrastination. So it's time to go. He's doing the right thing. Floyd's done a horrible job. Leonard's done a horrible job. Is that the end of TMT when Tank leaves? Who they got? They got that Hitchens kid. How far along is he? Is he ready to take up the slack? Is Rolly ready to pull an upset win off maps? We'll have to see. Because they got no one else there. And Leonard spends his time talking about fights that can't be made and why they can't do cross promotions and who they're not going to pay. And it's a put off for fans. And if you can't hold on to Tank, what budding prospects are going to sign there right now is what I have to think. And I just have a feeling that Tank may leave TMT all amicable, but it's just a matter of time before he tells all or tells some about the goings on there. And it's not going to be complimentary to either Leonard or Floyd or Al Haymon perhaps. So Canelo is not going to exercise his rematch clause. Doesn't want that immediate smoke with Dimitri Bivol, which says a lot in itself. He believes he won the fight, which he didn't. But this tells you he doesn't believe that. If he genuinely believed he beat Bivol, well, he'd want to set the record straight officially. Canelo don't want the light heavyweight smoke. You know, unless there's a rehydration clause or a catchweight situation going on. No. A trilogy fight with Golovkin has been confirmed for September the 17th. That happened awfully quick. At the post-fight presser, he said he would exercise his rematch clause for a return bout with Bivol in September. But weeks later, out of the blue, he's fighting Golovkin. Canelo said he feels very happy and proud to be able to give you the best fights. And this fight will not be an exception, said Alvarez. Golovkin added he hopes to see you on September the 17th. This is the fight DAZN always wanted. Even though Bivol is contracted to Matchroom, this is the fight they wanted. Aesthetically, this is the better fight. Bivol's obviously harder for Canelo to beat, but aesthetically, this is the better fight. It's more even size-wise, and watching Triple G's last fight, Canelo will be a considerable favourite, I would assume, with the bookmakers, the media, and fans. Now, Canelo has an iron chin resume. Not a cast iron chin of a resume, but an iron chin. Got a few flags on there, red ones. But he can still lose a couple of points. From this point on till when he retires, he can still lose a couple of points. Like, for instance, in modern day boxing, where the A side exercises a rematch clause in case they lose, well, he's lost and he hasn't exercised his. Doesn't look good. You don't use the backup drive when you need the backup drive? Nope. AJ's using his backup drive against Usyk. He's going back to get his straps to try and reverse the L, so to speak. He exercised it against Andy Ruiz. Wilder exercised his rematch clause or arbitration mediation options for the trilogy with Fury. And look at the beating he took in the second fight. Does Canelo not have the confidence that he can beat Bivol, or will he revisit the fight at a later date, is the question. And then he goes into this Triple G fight, and Triple G didn't look amazing against Murata in the early rounds. He's getting hit an awful lot. But he finished the job well. He did finish the job well. Gotta give him credit. He's tough as old boots, Triple G. And Canelo is not only looking for a victory, people are going to be looking at the nature of the victory. There's a sizable demo who believe he lost both Triple G fights. The first one was a split draw, and the second one was a majority decision that went Canelo's way. This time around, though, if he doesn't either stop Triple G or outpoints him conclusively, they're going to say, well, you've never beaten this guy, and this guy's 40 years of age now, and you're still struggling to get past him. And if he loses, well, that conversation is going to go on for a little while after. Canelo's decision to fight Triple G has changed the landscape. Now, Virgil Hunter was blatantly saying he didn't like Joshua Buatsi's chances against Canelo, against Bivol. He certainly didn't like his chances against Beterbiev. When Eddie suggested Beterbiev, Virgil went silent like, are you crazy? Well, Eddie's a promoter and he wants a return on his investment, so whatever the trainer wants might not fall in line with what the promoter wants. And with Canelo opting to fight Triple G in September, this could open up a door for Joshua Buatsi to challenge Bivol at the O2 Arena. And that's what Eddie's talking about. So Virgil is going to have to change tact, and even if he doesn't believe Buatsi can win, if he's going to train Buatsi, he's got to at least give the impression that he has belief that he can win this fight. So it's a bit of a strange situation. I'm guessing if Virgil knew that Canelo was going to change tact and fight Golovkin, and that the Bivol fight might be round the corner for Buatsi, he might not have said that. But he was being honest. He said what he said because he meant it. And I agree with Eddie. I agree. It's been 6 years, is what Eddie says, since Rio, the Olympics, since he turned professional. He's had great development. The Craig Richards fight was an incredible night, is what Eddie said. And Eddie says there are no more steps. If Bivol is available and ready to go towards the end of the year, I think that's the fight for Joshua Buatsi. Because tuning up 2 more fights, what's that going to do? Is it going to make Joshua Buatsi some defensive genius? No, it's not. No, it's not. Now, if you was talking about a unification, undisputed, perhaps, before a BUATSI defense for Bivol, you wouldn't get much of an argument from me. But why would Eddie make Zerdo Bivol before BUATSI and Bivol? Of course he's going to keep it in-house if he can right now. He's invested in Joshua BUATSI. Of course Golden Boy will want the Bivol fight. And I guess if that was the case, DAZN wouldn't care because it stays in-house as far as DAZN are concerned. But outside Zerdo, where are the other outstanding contenders? The big names for Eddie to promote a Bivol fight with. The O2 Arena against BUATSI is a huge fight. BUATSI and Craig Richards didn't sell out. This one will sell out 100%. But of course, we have to see what Bivol's options are. He might be looking elsewhere. So we have to hear what Bivol has to say. I mean, Zerdo is a mandatory. I'm not just going to scream for the Matchroom guy when there's other options out there that have to be taken into consideration. But push come to shove, I want to see BUATSI get his shot. Yeah, why not? Frank Warren, he says that the gate receipts for Fury versus White have doubled what AJ and Klitschko did, and that the pay-per-view numbers are looking very promising. He says BT takes a little long to release the numbers, but they're very happy. So has he broke that 1.5 million that he said he was going to break and break Joshua's records? We'll see. BUATSI and Craig Richards came up, and he seemed to be infuriated that Eddie keeps mentioning Anthony Yarde. Eddie said that Yarde will make more money fighting BUATSI than he would fighting the winner of Beterbiev and Smith. But Frank said that there's no way Yarde's going to be fighting for short money, and he's expecting to hold that fight in the UK. He also mentioned that Richards versus BUATSI is actually an eliminator for Bivol's WBA belt. I didn't know that. I actually didn't know. I will say this though, is that Frank and Anthony Yarde's supporters are actually out of touch with what the majority of the public think though. You go to that comment section on IFL and they are leathering Frank with why you keeping him inactive. Frank's never wanted the BUATSI fight for Yarde. The British public want to see Yarde versus BUATSI, blah, blah, blah. But you know, I don't know if that fight is still on the table right now, because if Richards and BUATSI was an eliminator for Bivol's WBA belt, the window of opportunity for Yarde to take the fight would have been before Joshua BUATSI signed to fight Craig Richards. And what's alarming is Frank is so sure that the Anthony Yarde versus the winner of Beterbiev Smith fight is going to be bang on schedule for October. Smith and Beterbiev fight in June, and then in October Yarde will fight the winner, and it will be as simple as that. The politics and the landscape of boxing, I don't know. And like, does anyone know if Yarde has been mandated by any of the sanctioning bodies that Beterbiev and Smith are fighting for? And I'm not the only one who is very suspect of this wrapping him in cotton wool and just wait for this world title opportunity. Because there cannot be no excuses this time around if Yarde gets a world title fight. And let's say it's not in October. Let's say it's more closer to 2023. And he's a year inactive. There can be no excuses. There will be no excuses. I did have a look at Floyd Mayweather's exhibition, and it was fun. Maybe a bit choreographed, but the opponent wasn't brought in there to make Floyd look bad. And Floyd had a good time, you know what I mean? He had a good time. He's got a bit of a pot belly, but in his mid-40s, he's entitled. He looked pretty good, though. He looked pretty good. I see the old feint counter, the old pull counter. I see a few of the old moves. And he done a good job. Played to the crowd. Took the round card girl's card. Started doing her job, the dancing with her. Spoke to Don Moore in his corner, walking around the ring. Was speaking to the commentator, saying he wants the 2-minute rounds to be up to 3. It was funny. It was pretty funny. You know, he done a good job of the exhibition in terms of entertainment. The event took place in Saudi Arabia, and the commentary team let us know that AJ versus Usyk 2 will be in Saudi Arabia. We're just waiting for a date now. What network is running things broadcasting boxing in Britain? We're talking 2022. I don't know if I've missed any, I may well have, but these are the main events. So we start with DAZN. Taylor versus Serrano, Wood versus Conlon, Kiko Martinez versus Josh Warrington, Jaime Munguia versus Demetrius Ballard, Lezaraga versus Metcalf, Julio Martinez versus Roman Gonzalez, Okoli versus Shellac, Ben versus Van Heerden, Jacobs versus Ryder, Canelo versus Bivol, Garcia versus Targo, Golovkin versus Murata, Zerdo versus Bazell, BUATSI versus Richards, Alexis Rocha versus Blair Cobbs, Sandor Martin versus Felix, Kawadris versus Bam Rodriguez, Sky, Williams versus Eubank, Jumar versus Riakpor, Khan versus Brook, Taylor versus Catterall, Savannah Marshall versus Hermans, and then you got their overseas cards, which they're getting from ESPN Top Rank. Jose Ramirez versus Pedraza, Robson Conceição versus Martinez, Valdez versus Shakur, Michaela Mayer versus Jennifer Hahn, Artur Beterbiev versus Marcus Brown, Vasil Lomachenko versus Richard Comey, and some prize fighter tournaments. BT, they gave us Fury versus White, Avanesian versus Metz, Brad Foster versus Baluta, Cunningham versus Corvier, Chris Bork versus Mark Leach. Channel 5, they've just started. We got Bentley versus Eudofia. Pro Bellum, they got shut down. Well, Eurosport shut them down. 3 cards into the 5-card deal. So far, they gave us Paul Butler versus Jonas Sultan, Sonny Edwards versus Muhammad Wasim, Troy Williamson versus Mason Cartwright. DAZN and Sky are definitely the front runners. If it wasn't for the ESPN cards that Sky were getting, I would have no hesitation to say that DAZN was way in front. DAZN have put on 17 cards. Sky have put on 13, including the 2 prize fighter tournaments. BT have put on 5 cards for the year. And obviously Channel 5 just starting of 1. Alright, so quantity, DAZN have got this. Quality, that's going to be down to interpretation, I guess. Domestic cards, DAZN have got this. Quantity is quantity. 17 shows for DAZN. Can't argue the maths. Quantity and quality combined, I still have DAZN in front. Anyone think any different?